Happy Tuesday, everyone. It is or was a first alert weather day to start off with those slick, slushy conditions out on the roads. Yeah.
It was really bad. I got here at about like 9:30. It was bad.
Yeah, well, I know like Justin during News 10 today at 11 during first alert traffic was talking about like 4 to 5 different accidents around mid-Michigan. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hope everyone's okay.
I know, I hope everyone's okay too. Yeah, and one of those roads really backed up on the highway. So if you are out on the roads today, make sure you're taking your time. Hey, you can join Studio 10 at 3 o'clock for all the fun things they have coming up.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming up too. I would say it's kind of like a science-themed day. But we didn't mean to do that. It just happened to turn out that way. So, well, starting off first, we have Take Me Home Tuesday, and of course, it's that time of year where, unfortunately, you know, people return dogs and cats that they had from Christmas.
Yeah.
That's obviously not the goal of what the Capital Area Humane Society is trying to do, but they're going to talk a little bit about that today, and then they're going to talk about just everything you need to know about adopting, because it is winter, it's cold outside, so now's the perfect time to get snuggled in with a cute little cat or something if you need the new addition. So we're going to talk about that, of course. And then it is the year of, you know, doing good things for your body, doing good things for your health. And January, of course, is a time to focus on that.
Many New Year's resolutions, I'm sure. Let's see how people are doing with that.
Yes, absolutely.
First week, not really.
It's tough, but one of the things a lot of people do is they do dry January. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the fun ways you can do that with Zero Bar Lounge. They kind of focus on that. So if you're interested in dry January, or you're interested in just, you know, not drinking in general, this is the thing for you.
And where is Zero Bar Lounge?
It's in Lansing. I do know that.
Hey.
I've still never been there.
Oh, no, I was like, where is this place? I want to check it out.
Yeah, and the cool thing is I used to try to avoid mocktails, because when I saw mocktail, all I saw was, that's just a sugary drink with no purpose. That doesn't have to be the case, and they're going to show us why that doesn't have to be the case.
They get really fancy and like really intricate with all of these different drinks and aromas and the appearance of it too.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us forget that like one of the most, like, the reason people always want is not about the drink. It's about the social, like, aspect of it and having the drink in your hand. So I think this will be really good to hear, and it's just a new kind of way to have fun. So
I like that.
We're going to have that. And then, did you know that slime is, like, really cool and a billion-dollar industry?
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
I know slime was really big for a while, especially over, you know, throughout COVID. Many people trying to make, they had like the glue, and then what else did you put in it? Like contact solution or something, and then you mix it all up.
Yep. It's a big business and a big science, and we're going to talk all about that today. I'm actually going to be live at MSU's School of Engineering because, I know. I thought the same thing. I was
Why
like,
there?
wow, crazy. Because they are investing in their slime lab, and it's going to be very fun.
Okay.
We're going to learn all about slime. We're going to learn about how you can make it, but we're also going to learn about if you love it or your kid loves it, how can you turn that into a career? How can you find things that are like slime that you can do as a career?
That's awesome. That is really fun.
It really is like the building blocks, like lesson 1 of chemical engineering. So.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Well, I always think it's interesting, like the little activities you can place your children in and how they'll start to release some new interests in these different industries. And you're like, oh, well, you would be really good over here. So what a great idea.
It's really cool. And if you think about, if you don't like science when you're in the classroom, remember the classroom is only till 12th grade. And then, you know, just
get them out there.
You'll get it. Yeah. So tune in. I think you'll really like it. So we have that. And then it is also Static Electricity Day, my least favorite thing in science ever. We're going to talk about why is it so pesky? Why is it so annoying? Why does it exist in the first place? Does it need to exist? I don't think so, but...
Hot take right there.
Yes, and how you can eliminate it. So we're going to go over all those things, and it's going to be a really great show, so we hope to see you there.
All right, thank you, Claudia. Yes, a lot more fun coming up today, a science-y day on Studio 10.
Yes, we will see you at 3.
And you know, I feel like green...
I did it to match the slime vibes. I was thinking like Nickelodeon slime, you know?
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
But I feel like green, anytime you had to pick like a folder out for class, I feel like green always went with history or science. It was one of those two.
Totally. Mark my words, if I get slimed though, I will cry. So.
All right, tune in 3 o'clock. Thank you, Claudia. Here's where you can stay up to date with Studio 10. This is their social media and all their different handles that you can find them on. So at WILX Studio 10, that is where you want to go. And of course, you can always go on their YouTube page. That's where I like to go because you can see the wide range of videos that they have up on there. Look back at any of their segments, see the new hobbies that you can get into for 2024. And of course, if you have that New Year's resolution of dry January or damp January, make sure to tune in today for Studio 10 and you can get all of those great ideas on mocktails. Have you tried a mocktail before?
Not personally. Mine have normally been regular cocktails, if I do say so myself. However, I'm sure that they can be really good. So I'm willing to give those a try. And I'm sure my wife would love a mocktail since she is not able to have anything to drink right now. So that could be something to look into doing a little more of.
But
so
people
nobody
probably,
feels,
people probably want to have some hot chocolate today.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good idea, and especially next week when it gets really cold across the area. But we might have a good deal of snow on the ground before then because we've got another system to watch for Friday after today's moves out. And in fact, we're still dealing with a few impacts outside across mid-Michigan today. This morning we had a first alert weather day. We've since expired that, but we still want folks to know that heading into overnight tonight and then again tomorrow, we're going to have a chance to pick up maybe another dusting to an inch of snow 2 more times before Friday's system even gets here. And that one's probably a bit bigger for us. We're going to keep an eye on that over the next few days.
Yeah, definitely make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. Again, our meteorologist, like Justin, giving many updates talking about the first alert weather day that we had this morning. Again, like Justin said, that has since expired. But like I mentioned not too long ago, even with all of these alerts and updates that they're giving, still many accidents out on the roadways. And I know you can't always help it, but make sure you are staying up to date and aware on the latest weather, especially with this next system that's coming.
Yeah, and it seems sometimes these events that aren't as huge amounts of snowfall are the ones where we see more crashes. I feel like that probably has something to do with the fact that the lesser values, people see 1 to 2 inches, they think, whatever, and you don't pay as much attention to the roads, you let your guard down. Whereas if we get 6, 8, 10 inches or more, everyone goes, we got to really take it easy because there's so much out there. And if there's not much out there, it looks like it's no big deal to people, and that's when you have more incidents take place. However, it's obviously more dangerous to drive those speeds in a bigger event if your guard is up, and so that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, well, I was taking a walk outside to just take some pictures of the snow and the slush in our parking lot. I almost wiped out on the sidewalk.
It's slippery.
I was walking.
Yeah, and it's that kind of like slushy, really grainy. If anybody managed to, if you were walking on some of it today, you notice you slip and slide really easily. It's not like you get great traction on it, and that's the same thing applies when you're on the roads. Obviously, tires do a good job in most weather of slowing down, but you get into some of that slush and you're driving on it and you hit the brakes, it's going to take you a little longer to stop. And that's been seen today with a couple accidents we've had on the roads. In our 11 a.m. show, we had about 5 of them at once, and we've had a few others dotting the area throughout the day. So, again, please just be vigilant through the evening. The good news is we're starting to warm things up this afternoon, and so we should change everything over to rain.
All right. Well, we are seeing some of those rain droplets coming on the Mason Skycam, but we'll take a live look outside at our US 127 Skycam.
Yeah, so that one, you've got a few droplets. You also have still a few lingering snowflakes on the north side of town right now. And again, you can see there is still a little bit of snow out there. The road's starting to see a few lanes kind of create and carve themselves out there. In the middle of the road, still a bit of the slush where the tire tracks have not gone on. But you notice that over Jackson, everything is dried out and stopped for the time being. And again, temperatures are warming up. The number's up to 36 in Jackson, so you'll continue to see some of that snow melt. And when everything does come through in Jackson later, it'll all be as rain. But you'll notice something else on satellite and radar. We've developed a bit of a dry slot, which is good news for us. That means that we've got an area moving out of the Lansing region in the next 30 minutes or so where we could be into maybe an hour or two of dry weather, which would be nice to have. Once again, it is starting to change over to rain too, as you see that rain-snow line pretty much riding I-96 and I-69, that corridor off towards the north. Once again, to the south, what will come in this evening, that next batch after a brief dry period, is more rain. But this is all part of a very large system that's really got almost the entire country this side of the Mississippi River covered. It's bothering folks from out in Iowa and Missouri with snow all the way to areas near Boston where the leading edge of the storm is just now getting to, and that area got quite a bit of snow last week and over the weekend. Once again, though, we're going to be seeing the cold air kind of take over in the dominant pattern late in the forecast, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. Peek at the hour by hour first, and once again, we're seeing this mainly become the dominant precip type this evening. That's the rain. We'll have a few opportunities for dry periods as well. Temperatures this evening you see in Hillsdale, Adrian, places to the south climbing near 40 degrees. And then heading into the overnight as the system moves out, transitions back into snow as temperatures fall to near 30 by Wednesday morning, and so it's possible we coat the ground with another brief, we'll call it a coat or a glaze of snow. We're looking at probably ½ inch to an inch of snowfall into the overnight. And then tomorrow afternoon, not much going on. It's just a cloudy end to our day on Wednesday. But on Thursday, another weak disturbance moves through, and that looks like it brings us some snow. The good thing is it looks like it only really sticks around for the morning and then fades away pretty fast into Thursday afternoon, and so we'll be back into dry weather heading into Thursday evening as well. So really, after today's system is done, the next 2 mornings, Wednesday, Thursday, probably deal with about an inch or less of snow across the area, but it'll be enough to be pesky and coat us over 2 times. And so predicted snowfall, again, for the rest of today, you're seeing it's mainly accumulating north and west of here. We're done with our accumulating snow for the day here in mid-Michigan, so that's good. However, overnight in the predicted snow, you see here we start to throw down anything less than an inch will show up on here as trace amounts, even if it's up to around ½ or 3/4 of an inch of snow. So you see Lansing and Charlotte get into that 1 to 2 by noon tomorrow. I think for most that's right around that 1 instead of the 2. We go out a little further into our Thursday, and there's that second round that comes through right there, which in Lansing and areas to the north and west may be just enough to total us around 2 inches by the time we get through that system. But once again, most other folks are going to be around an inch to an inch and a half when it's all said and done over the next 2 days or so. And we'll also probably see some melting with highs the next 2 days above the freezing mark as well. But we've also got a wide view of the hour by hour, and this shows not only the system that is moving out today as we put things into motion, but our system that comes through on Thursday as well. That one, once again, is a relatively smaller one, but enough to throw down an inch or so of snow. After that, we're dry for probably the first half of Friday, but look at the afternoon. By Friday, 2 p.m., we're going to see another large system move into the Great Lakes, and this one is one we're going to have to keep a close eye on and bring you continued first alert updates. It looks like, as you see here, we could get into some of that kind of heavier swath of snow, the darkest blue color you see there moving in by Friday afternoon, and especially into the evening, carrying all the way out to Saturday. That's a larger system that will move in. And right now it looks like it's going to be maybe a big snowmaker for us. So as far as like potential totals and things like that, we might start showing those maps for the first time tomorrow. But since that's a Friday night into Saturday event, showing it on Tuesday doesn't really do anybody any good, so we're going to hold off till tomorrow to probably start talking accumulations. But this would be our largest snowstorm of the system when it does come through. Now, the 8 to 14-day outlook also, as we've been talking about, is showing that winter trend continuing below average temperatures moving into our neck of the woods, and we'll talk about that here in the 10-day. So you see the first half, this one is going to be the snowy side. We're going to split the 10-day into 2 parts. Today through Saturday is the snowy side. That's where we get some opportunities for snow. Again, the one today with the rain working in, but then tomorrow and Thursday, each small pesky events, and then the Friday, Saturday one, that could be a bigger one that we're, again, keeping an eye on. Now, the second half of the 10-day forecast, I'm calling the cold side. So you got the snowy side first, the cold side second, because even though it looks like we turned the snow machine off, well, we're going to keep the clouds around, and we're going to keep very cold air around, too. We haven't had numbers this cold. I'm going to have to go back, double-check the records, but certainly since last January would have been the last time we had highs not make it to 20 degrees. And we're going to have that for maybe several days in a row. I've got current next high Tuesday is 11, and the overnight lows are in the single digits for several nights.
I don't like that. That's way too cold.
And you know what? Anytime we get even a little bit of a breeze, that means that we throw wind chills below 0 more than likely for a time. And so that's something to consider heading into next week. Even if it's dry, it'll be very cold, and so you'll want to be you want to have the layers around. Certainly, you're going to need them next week. We haven't needed those much yet this winter. Although, once again, I will say that if we do manage to throw down a whole bunch of snow Friday, what that could end up doing is making these numbers go even colder next week because, you know, you coat the ground in several inches of snow, especially on calm nights, it makes it really easy to cool down really fast. And if that happens, I'm not banking on it quite yet, but we could see a few places maybe dip below 0 for actual air temps if we're managing to coat the ground with a ton of snow if this system pans out as we head towards the end of the week. So, of course, we'll keep an eye on it. We've got several updates to come. The First Alert Weather Team's keeping a very close eye on it. Once again, tomorrow we'll start to share maybe some prospective snow totals. As you all know, they can change, and they often do, and so we'll continue to provide those updates as necessary. It does look right now that Friday may end up being the biggest snowfall we've seen so far, which again, we haven't had many big snowfalls yet to this point in the year, but it's looking like it could be one that brings us at least a handful of inches, if not more than that. And so it's one we're watching closely, and we'll see how the impacts end up panning out for us as we head towards our weekend here.
Yeah, well, what'll be interesting, and like Justin pointed out in the beginning, is that the first half of this 10-day, the snow, the second half is the cold. So question for you, Justin. Let me make sure there's no questions over here. Nope, just good afternoon from Chris. Hope you're having a good one, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Do you think, and I know that the system is still a few days out, so it makes it hard to track, but not only will we get those colder temperatures if it is a big snow system that comes across mid-Michigan over the weekend, do you think that depending on the amount of snow we get, that'll stick around longer because of those colder temperatures?
Absolutely, and that's the key here is I think whether it's a big snow or a medium snow or even a little snow on Friday, I think whatever we throw down on the ground as we head into the weekend, it's going to be around definitely through all of next week. And so plan on by this weekend, even if we manage to melt off the snow here, I know we're getting a little bit more Wednesday, a little bit more Thursday, even though it's not much. We'll probably still see blades of grass all the way up until this event starts on Friday.
Okay.
But once it does get here, once that grass goes away beneath the snow, you're not going to see that grass again for a little while. I mean, definitely through next week. With these cold temperatures, numbers in the teens, lows in the single digits, we just don't have any sunshine either to help us out. And so all of these conditions are going to make it so that whatever snow does fall between Friday and Saturday, that's going to be around for at least a week, and in all certainty probably longer, because even in the extended outlook, which goes beyond the end of this 10-day, we don't have exact temperatures for, those numbers are not getting back up to 30, it looks like, for a little while. And so we're going to go back into a trend which we have not seen yet this winter.
Yeah.
We haven't seen since last year. Just one of those classic cold Januarys shaping up here once we get to the end of the 10-day. So snow lovers, cold lovers, you're going to get what you've been wanting. It's a mid-Michigan winter. And it's coming back.
Is.
And by the way, just because we get these events, because I have had a couple questions about this, I've had people saying, I thought it was El Nino. I thought we were supposed to be warm, and I thought we were supposed to be dry, and all this. Well, that's the whole thing. The overall pattern, even through this cold stretch, when you average it all out, is still going to be above normal. It's still going to be drier than normal. But once again, El Nino is just a trend for the year. It doesn't mean that we will never get a big snow.
Right.
It doesn't mean we will never have cold temperatures. It's just more likely that we spend more time with above normal, more time with drier than normal. And this is going to be one of those cooler stretches. I have a feeling we're going to rebound temperature-wise.
All right.
As we get beyond this stretch, maybe as we get towards February. But at least for this part of the middle and towards the end of the month here, we'll be colder than normal for sure.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Justin. That was quite the forecast. A lot of updates.
Yeah.
Continue to stay updated.
Yeah, a good way to do that is the First Alert Weather app. We always tout it and talk about it, but especially when you're talking about potential systems and storms working into mid-Michigan, you want to make sure that you have this. It's got the greatest information to help plan your day. And once again, that's absolutely free in Google Play and in the App Store as well. And you can always get your First Alert forecast there if you're not able to view our shows online or on our airwaves as well. And so it's a great tool to have handy, and we hope you download it if you don't have it already.
All right. Thank you, Justin. And we'll see you at 3 o'clock, Studio 10.
Yes.
Okay. And then you'll also see him for First at 4, and then Andy will be in for our 90 minutes of news.
That is right.
Sounds good. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, of
Good
course.
luck with that forecast.
Thank you very much.
Coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters today during First at 4. And also coming up this Monday, January 15th, is MLK Day, if you can believe it. So that is coming up pretty quickly here. And so the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission of Mid-Michigan, they're holding their day of celebration on Monday, January 15th, on MLK Day. It starts at 11 in the morning, and their guest speaker this year is Ruby Bridges. Now, she's someone that I learned back in elementary school. Justin, can you speak on the same? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
All right, let me give you a little refresher on her. So she was the first African-American child to desegregate William Frantz Elementary School at just 6 years old.
Wow.
So she was a very pivotal figure when it came to the civil rights movement, and at 6 years old, desegregating an elementary school. So very great stuff right there. Again, she's the guest speaker for the MLK Day of Celebration that will be at the Lansing Center this coming Monday. So tune into Mid-Michigan Matters today because, unfortunately, Ms. Bridges was super busy, but we will have someone previewing what she'll be speaking about and the impact that'll have, the stories, the journey that she'll be sharing with Mid-Michigan. So learn about the impact of that coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters today. News 10 at 5, our very own Dean of Sports, Tim Stout, is breaking down last night's championship victory for the Michigan Wolverines, 34-13, taking down the Washington Huskies. Justin, did you watch that game?
It was a good game, and of course I watched it. I was in Ann Arbor watching it with
yeah?
the students.
Oh,
So,
boy.
Oh, it was cool. It was really cool.
We had you on a few stories, too, to
Yeah.
check that out.
Oh, yeah. Yep, definitely a bunch of stories, even today's story. That's what that was all about.
Oh,
So,
all right.
yeah, it was exciting game.
All right, we'll check in with you in just a second here. I'll keep going through this because I'm excited to hear about that. And then coming up today on News 10 at 5:30, the Save a Life Tour made a stop in Dansville High School today to show students the dangers of driving impaired or distracted driving. So they wanted to provide a safe space for students to do that. When you get out of those school walls and, it's the students out on the road by themselves, a lot of factors can happen. So making sure that they're prepared for whatever life throws their way. Coming up, News 10 at 6, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, wearing the maize and blue, by the way, spoke on the repeal of the retirement tax. So we explain what the repeal means and who it will impact. All of that coming up during our 90 minutes of news today, but Justin Kent is right here, and Justin just talking more about Michigan.
Oh, man. It was such a crazy environment to be in right there, and I got to tell you, the students rushing onto the basketball court at the end of the game and singing the fight song and dancing and just the party that was in downtown Ann Arbor, it was unreal last night. And today, fans across the state, not just in Ann Arbor, but of course across the state, everyone's looking to get their hands on some of that championship merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
Our rally house that we have locally here in Okemos, not too far away, they are selling those shirts out pretty quick.
Wow.
The store manager tells me she has to go and take a special trip to Novi to restock on those championship shirts because they're running out so fast.
So even Spartan territory is trying to take all of the Wolverine gear.
Yeah. Earlier in the week, I was at the M Den, which is in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And they were getting all the gear ready, the Rose Bowl championship gear that
I'm
they
sure
had.
they were swamped.
They were swamped, but I found a fan from Columbus, Ohio in there, which was pretty awesome. So there are fans everywhere, Michigan fans everywhere for sure.
And you would think they would be the biggest rival.
Yeah, they would definitely be the ones. I could understand that they have to travel all the way to Ann Arbor for their gear.
You're like, no Michigan gear allowed in the
hard
state.
To find out back where they're from, I'm
That's
guessing.
so funny. Man, okay. Well, what time do you have that coming up today?
We'll have that story for you guys with the Rally House, and we even ran into a couple of Michigan fans out there that had something to say about why they're getting the gear and stuff, so it's pretty cool. We'll have that story at 6 o'clock for you guys.
All right, thank you, Justin. News 10 at 6. I do want to apologize real quick. We have a little construction happening at the station, so I'll talk quieter now. I had to talk
Bigger,
over
better
that.
things.
Oh, yes, a lot of great things coming to the station, but you're going to hear that noise from time to time. So, all right, well, thank you, Justin. Now, actually, I don't know what I was about to click right there. We did have our Victor's Valiant last night, too, if you were able to tune in with that. Obviously, it's all done now, but that was something that happened right before kickoff. But something kind of transitioning over. We'll let Justin get back to his work. Thank you, Justin. Talking about our You're Not Alone mental health series. So we are in the second week of the new year. And if you happen to be going through anything during this time, I know that the holidays, the new year, it can bring a lot of different stress and just a lot happening, very quick paced. So if you feel overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, maybe some anxiety, depression, even suicidal thoughts, know that you're not alone. There are resources out there for you. All you have to do is pull out your phone, get the camera and scan that QR code, and it'll pull up a list of resources once you click on the link, and it'll bring you and show you to all the different resources throughout mid-Michigan, whether it's counseling or therapy or behavioral. You'll be able to get those resources, whether it's for you or someone else that you may or may not know. Something else you can do is call or text the Lifeline chat number. That number is 988. And if you are a veteran, you can press option number 1, and that'll connect you to another veteran. So make sure you press option number 1. That'll connect you to another veteran who can help you better understand, your personal experience if you'd like, and get the guidance that you need. But otherwise, we're going to continuously have stories throughout online and on air here on News 10 all year long, talking with community health members and also community members and also health experts on their own personal experience so that you know that you're not alone. I do have Riley Connell standing by to share what she has
Hello.
coming up. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you staying dry and warm?
Well, I was just about to say, if you can tell by my very unique hairstyle I've got going on.
Is that from
I've
the
been
snow?
outside.
I like it.
Yeah, it has. It's
is
kind
nice.
of. It's helped to redefine the curls. All
Oh,
my
good.
curly and wavy hair people know how that goes. So spent a lot of time outside today. We're talking about that. Winter driving reminders, some of those rules for when you're going to get behind the wheel. It's really the first big snow and ice of the season, as I'm sure Justin Bradford already let you know. It's been quite a hectic morning, and there's more of that to come. So I got together with Sheriff Rigglesworth here in Ingham County, and he's putting out some of those reminders of what you can do if you find yourself in a sticky situation, and just some of those other safety tips to keep in mind right now. So we spent a little time outside, and I talked to a couple of drivers out at the Holt rest stop today as well too, just to gather a little bit of some insight from some of our truckers who tend to head across the state back and forth and really see
be
the
tough.
worst of this kind of weather, it seems like. I get nervous in my little Subaru, so if I were driving a 16-wheeler and suddenly, I'm skidding on ice, I would be a little bit afraid, but they're not, apparently. They're
that's
really,
good.
they're well prepared.
Must be very professional drivers, which is great. Great news right there.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be me, and that's why I'm here telling you stories about your community and not driving a 16-wheeler, but I commend the folks who do.
All right. Well, all the power to you, Riley Connell. And then what time can people look out for those winter weather preps on the road?
5 p.m. today, so right about that, getting home from work or maybe commute start time. But keep up with us through the week. We're going to have more weather coverage, I'm sure. Download that First Alert weather app so that you can stay up to date as the weather changes. I think it kicks back up again on Friday, I think Justin said, and that's going to be a lot of sleet and ice. So if you are driving through the slush today and you didn't really catch the bulk of it, then it's still to come later in the week. So make sure to tune in. It's always good to have reminders. Is what
It
the
is a
sheriff
good
said.
reminder.
Yeah, he said some people have been driving for decades, and it's still good to let people know, to really slow down. That was pretty much the biggest piece of advice, which is, slow down when it's snowy and icy. So hopefully people follow that advice.
And like you said, we live in Michigan. You could have been dealing with this your whole life, but it's like people forget. We've had a dry December. You get back on the road and you're like, whoa, I forgot how to do this. And
Or, you are a little bit overconfident in a turn. It happened to me even this morning.
Oh, no.
Pulling out of my own street, it really hits you. You're kind of like, oh, wow, I really need to take it easy during the rest of my commute. So
I'm glad you're alive and well.
I am too. We were here bright and early, ready to go and safe. But they've already had 10 crashes today, 10 weather-related accidents in Ingham County. So I'm hoping to see some numbers roll in from our other county sheriff's offices and just seeing kind of what the daily, crash impact is because of this weather. So hopefully we have some more numbers on that. But in Ingham County, 10 crashes alone, and that's just in their kind of small portion that the sheriff's office covers. So he said it's starting to pick up. So everybody be safe out there during the rest of this week.
Yeah, thank you, Riley. And we'll tune in again, News 10 at
5.
News 10 at 5. Thank you, Riley. And she
Thank
did just mention the First Alert weather app. I'm going to pull that up one more time for you. Download it for free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. Again, it's not just for your First Alert forecast updates. It's also for those traffic alert updates. So like Riley was saying, 10 crashes, weather-related crashes in Ingham County just today alone. And so download the First Alert weather app. You can get those traffic alert notifications, know where the crashes, the accidents are in your area, and just make sure you're staying alert and safe out on the roadways. Oh, yes, and we have Deanna now. We just have a whole rotation of them today. What are you talking about in our 90 minutes of news?
Well, I am recapping the Douglas J. Cosmetology Institute settlement. So, if people haven't heard, there was, a huge civil lawsuit. Basically, the students felt like they were being asked to do too many janitorial duties instead of learning, the craft of cosmetology, doing hair and stuff like that. So I'll just be recapping more about that. I spoke to the lawyer who represented those students. So she gave me more details concerning that. And then kind of looking at more so if you happen to find yourself in a work environment where you feel like you're being asked to do duties that you weren't hired for, what to do, how to go about that. So yeah, kind of a holistic view to it.
All right, yeah, so you're taking one thing more specific and you're kind of being specific, but also generalizing it for the greater
Yes.
community.
Absolutely, yes. Because I mean, I'm hopefully not a lot of people has been in those situations, but you know, you never know. You may think, you know, hey, maybe this isn't fair, this isn't right,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how these students at the institute felt, and which is why you know the whole lawsuit happened. But they were able to get their settlement, so I'll just talk more about that.
Okay, we're looking forward. I almost just flung this paper. We're looking forward to it, Deanna. Thank you. And one more time, News 10.
At 5:30.
All right, News 10 at 5:30. It's always hard for me to remember. I'm like, who is in what?
That's
Okay.
I know.
There's
We're
a lot
all
going
working
on.
hard in different shows.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Well, we will let you get back to that. I'm going to take another live look outside over Mason. Thank you, Deanna. And you are seeing more of that, the water droplets or the little snow droplets on the camera right there. That's Santa. He's gone. He's missing out on all the snow. But yes, I'm sure Santa is very happy that the holidays are done. But of course, now we are finally getting all of that snow, the wintry weather systems in our area. So again, as you are making your way outside today, just make sure you're taking your time out on the roadways. Here's a live look over Delta Township. And so I know roads are a little slippery over there as well, and probably a little bit better out on the roadways now that we're warming up. But because of that snow melting, it's going to get slushy out there. And so I just want to make sure people are taking their time out on the roadways, knowing all of the weather impacts that could affect you. So again, make sure you're taking your time. I'll give another live look. We'll take this as the last one over downtown Jackson. But you're seeing over downtown Jackson also, same thing like Delta Township and even Mason. It's very cloudy outside, cloud-covered sky. You're gonna have wet road conditions. And so just make sure you're being mindful of those conditions. Like Justin and I were talking about, even Riley and I were talking about, both Justins, I would say, we're talking about being careful out on the roadways. You know, when we get that, the snow into our forecast and across our area, especially one of the first bigger snows or more accumulating snows, sometimes we forget to drive out on our Michigan roadways. So make sure you have both hands on the wheel. Again, there is that whole hands-free driving law that went into effect last year across Michigan. We actually talked to Sheriff Rigglesworth on that. But you want both hands on the wheel, no phone or anything distracting you in your hands. You want to put that phone away. And just making sure that both hands are on the wheel. Even if you are stopped at a stop sign or a stoplight, you cannot be on your phone because you're operating a vehicle. So just making sure people are staying safe today. That is the biggest thing, especially with the number of accidents that we've reported on across mid-Michigan. Make sure you're staying alert. Make sure you're staying aware. One more time, I will show you that first alert weather app, because if you saw the impacts today, you experienced it, you're out on the roadways. Yes, it is tricky out there. There are some challenging impacts. But again, like Justin Bradford was saying, coming up this Friday, we're going to be seeing a lot more weather impacts from that system moving in across mid-Michigan. So make sure you download the First Alert weather app, get all of your latest First Alert forecast updates. You can get radar, satellite, hour by hour, even video updates from our meteorologist team. And you can also get those traffic alert updates too. So no matter where you're traveling to, say you're from Lansing, you're going to Jackson, you can also see at the very top of the app right there where it says First Alert Weather and then Lansing, Michigan. If you click on the top of your app, you're actually able to change the location, or you can do the Follow Me feature, and that will give you the forecast for where you are at the moment. Great tool to have on your phone. I tell people I look at it every single day when I get up in the morning and I'm seeing what I wear for work, or if there are weather impacts, I'm making sure I'm checking that if there's any storms on the way or if there's anything happening out on the roadway. So super helpful. Want to make sure that you're all staying safe out there and aware. But yes, keep checking back in with our meteorologist. Justin Bradford will be on Studio 10 at 3 o'clock today in just under half an hour, followed by First at 4. And then Andy Provenzano will be in for our 90 minutes of news. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everyone.